Why? Would SK Hynix dare to go all in, staking nearly $13 billion on something that sounds like a supporting step chip packaging? And why could this solitary move be powerful enough to flip the entire technology chessboard, forcing the giants currently in the lead to stumble and surrender the crown? Stay with me until the end, because together we're going to peel back a harsh truth. Is this $13 billion the golden key to owning the future, or a win big or lose everything gamble that could sink an empire? On January 13th, 2026, SK Hynix announced plans to invest 19 trillion won, roughly $12.9 to $13 billion, to build an advanced chip packaging complex in South Korea. This is not the kind of factory you might imagine, where you pour in sand and chips come out. Their focus is advanced packaging, the stage where multiple chip dies are combined, stacked, and interconnected into an ultra-high density block stable enough to run 24/7 in data centers. The site mentioned is Cheongju, a city where SK Hynix already has an established manufacturing ecosystem. Building where the foundation already exists signals a push to shorten deployment time. Infrastructure, workforce, supply chain, and operational know-how are already in place. The project is set to break ground in April, with a target completion by the end of 2027. It sounds far away, but in semiconductors, 2027 is tomorrow, because everything requires lengthy standardization, validation, and test runs. So why not pour $13 billion into a wafer fab instead of investing in packaging? The answer is HBM. AI doesn't just need powerful GPUs. AI needs to feed those GPUs with enormous volumes of data continuously at extreme speed. A GPU is like a jet engine, but if the fuel line is too narrow, the engine still has to throttle down. And the component that determines that data flow is high bandwidth memory, HBM. HBM is a DRAM standard engineered for massive bandwidth by stacking multiple layers of memory chips vertically. The better the stack, the denser the interconnects, and the shorter the pathways, the higher the speed and the lower the power consumption. That's why HBM has become a mandatory companion for AI accelerators in data centers. From training models to real-time inference, everything needs bandwidth, not just compute. But here's the problem. HBM is not easy to make. It demands extremely complex packaging processes, strict testing, and long qualification cycles. Customers must validate durability, stability, defect rates, and more before they commit to large orders. Put simply, making it is hard. Making it consistently at scale is harder, and making it consistently to spec and on schedule for major customers is harder still. For years, memory was often treated as a commodity, prices rising and falling in cycles, competition driven largely by volume. But AI has rewritten the rules. As companies pour money into data centers, they're not just buying GPUs, they're buying entire systems, and HBM is a critical piece. Demand for HBM is accelerating faster than forecasts, while packaging capacity, the step that turns HBM into a shippable product, cannot be expanded overnight. As a result, memory becomes the bottleneck. You can have GPUs, but without HBM, the system still can't be deployed at full speed. When a bottleneck appears, power follows. The supply-demand imbalance pushes memory pricing upward and gives memory makers far more leverage in negotiations with customers. Imagine a cloud operator ready to launch a new GPU cluster, but missing just one component: HBM. Being late by a quarter means delayed revenue, delayed customers, and delayed positioning. At that point, the conversation is no longer about cheaper, it becomes who can deliver first. SK Hynix is in a particularly notable position because it has been cited as the leading HBM supplier to NVIDIA, a name that has become almost synonymous with the current AI wave. When your biggest customer is accelerating new GPU and AI accelerator launches, you cannot afford to lag. SK Hynix says it plainly: Global AI competition is speeding up, and demand for AI-optimized memory is surging. A proactive response is not optional, it's mandatory. There's more. SK Hynix has also projected that the HBM market could grow at an average rate of about 33% per year from 2025 to 2030. 33% annual growth isn't normal growth. It's the kind that goes nearly vertical. If you can't expand fast enough, you miss a once-in-a-generation opportunity. But if you expand at the wrong pace, you take on the risk of excess capacity. That's exactly why this investment is being called a gamble. Now, back to packaging. Don't think of packaging as merely boxing it up. Advanced packaging for HBM is an integrated technology system, stacking multiple DRAM layers, creating ultra-dense interconnects between layers to drive bandwidth, optimizing power because data center electricity use is a make or break battle, managing heat because more performance means more heat, and heat is the enemy of stability. And finally, rigorous quality control, because a single small defect can ruin an entire stacked package. That's why expanding packaging capacity is like expanding the exit gate of the entire HBM pipeline. You can have wafers, designs, and equipment, but if packaging can't keep up, you still can't ship. Wherever the bottleneck sits, that's where the money has to go. And SK Hynix isn't the only one seeing the opportunity. Samsung has also declared it is accelerating HBM. Micron is also chasing. The race is no longer just who can make it, but who can make a lot of it fast and reliably. SK Hynix's advantage is that it has been ahead by a step, and now it's trying to turn that step into distance. The new Changzhou facility reads like a statement: I won't just lead today, I will lock in leadership for 2026 to 2030. For customers like NVIDIA or data center operators, there's one non-negotiable requirement: stable supply. Whoever guarantees a better supply has the louder voice. And once you have the louder voice, you can influence the tempo of the entire market. Here is the most important part. If memory is the choke point, everything upstream is affected. Cloud providers roll out GPU clusters more slowly. AI startups pay more to rent compute. Enterprises deploying AI absorb higher costs. And ultimately, consumers may pay more for more expensive electronics. A packaging plant isn't just SK Hynix's story, it can shape the speed at which AI spreads worldwide. But a big opportunity always carries a big risk. A $13 billion investment raises a hard question: will HBM demand remain durable? If the AI cycle slows, new capacity could become a burden. And because HBM is difficult to manufacture, even once the factory is built, it still takes time to hire, refine processes, raise yields, and pass punishing customer qualification tests. And that brings us back to the question from the beginning of the video. This $13 billion is both a golden opportunity and a high-stakes gamble. An opportunity because HBM is the lifeblood feeding AI, and those who expand at the right time can profit as the market explodes. A gamble because if you mistime it, you could pay with enormous costs and surplus capacity. But for SK Hynix, choosing not to act may be even more dangerous. Slow down, and you could lose your place in the AI supply chain to a rival. If this advanced packaging complex is completed on schedule by the end of 2027, SK Hynix will reinforce its role in the global AI supply chain and maintain an advantage over Samsung and Micron during the 2025 to 2030 HBM boom. And what do you think will be the biggest choke point for AI over the next 2 years? GPS, power, or HBM memory? Like, comment below, and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos.